When it comes to relaxed hair care, there are a lot of tips and information out there and available all about taking care of our hair strands. Now, that is important. Caring for our hair is important, but probably just as important, if not even a little bit more, is taking care of our scalp. The scalp is often neglected when healthy hair care practices are talked about. So I figured in this video, I would share the importance of taking care of your scalp and also provide some tips on how to keep your scalp healthy. Now, before we get into the how to do it, I'd like to talk about the why we should do it. Now, I learned a lot about our scalps as I was doing this research. And one thing that I did know already is that the scalp is an extension of our skin. It just has a lot more hair on it than the rest of our bodies do. The scalp is also where the majority of our hair grows from. Now, what I didn't know is that there are thousands of hair follicles on our scalp and a lot of oil glands that produce oil to help condition our hair and our scalp. Now, did you know that the main purpose of having a scalp is not just to grow long and beautiful hair, but it's really to protect the skull from trauma and infection? So yeah, the scalp is kind of important. Now, like the rest of our skin, the scalp needs to be cleaned, moisturized, and protected from environmental damage. A healthy scalp is essential for healthy hair growth, so just remember that. The reason to remember that is because it's important to take care of your scalp, because if you don't, it can get nasty, ugly, and just downright dirty, and I mean that literally. Not doing any scalp care can lead to a buildup of oil and dead skin cells, both of which can clog our hair follicles and impede hair growth. And when you don't care for your scalp, you'll start to see it dry out, it can start itching, flaking, and scaling, and in some cases, you might have some abnormal hair shedding happening as well. Now, that's a lot of symptoms, and not only are those symptoms uncomfortable, but they're also kind of embarrassing because you can only hide them for so long before people start to notice. So now that we know the why, how can we take care of our scalps and keep them healthy? Well, I've got 7 tips for you, and we're going to start with the first one, which is to keep your scalp clean. Now, this is probably the most basic and easiest thing we can do to keep our scalps healthy. Regular shampooing is essential for removing oils and dirt, not only from our hair, but also from our scalps. Now, before you ask, let me tell you, since every head is different, there really isn't a set rule on how often you need to shampoo. Now, what I can tell you is there are some telltale signs that you've started to go too long between your washes. And those signs are, there'll be a slight odor, the hair is really oily or really dry, your scalp can be really oily or really dry, and the hair will start to look way down. I personally go about 7 days between washes, and occasionally I may go up to 10 days. When I shampoo my hair each week, I make sure to also clean my scalp. In fact, I actually start by cleaning my scalp first. Now, the type of shampoo that I use is either a clarifying shampoo or it will be a moisturizing one. If I feel that my scalp and hair are really dirty and have some buildup, I will use the clarifying shampoo. Now, that is because that type of shampoo can help to fully remove dirt, oil, and product buildup. But I will say it's not something that I would use often unless it's on a really oily scalp, just because too often it can dry out the hair. Every other time that I wash my hair and scalp, I use a moisturizing shampoo. Now, moisturizing shampoos and even sulfate-free ones are really well suited to use on scalps that tend to be on the dry side. I make sure that I get my scalp clean because of how I apply my shampoo. I use an applicator bottle because I can use the slender tip to get the shampoo directly onto my scalp. My second tip is to exfoliate the scalp. Just like exfoliating your face, exfoliating your scalp can help remove dead skin cells and improve circulation. It can also remove buildup from products, sweat, and oil that is built up on the scalp. Now, if you want to go ahead and do some exfoliation, there are a couple of different ways that you can do it. And some of the more common ones can be easily done at home. Now, you have the option of using a textured scalp scrub, which is a gentle scrub that contains ingredients such as charcoal, sugar, or even sea salt. Now, those types of ingredients are used because they have a gritty type of texture, which is great at loosening up gunk and dirt and everything that is on the scalp so that it can be easily rinsed away. If a scrub isn't right for you, then you have the option of using a scrubbing brush or comb that can gently exfoliate your scalp. I personally have used a scalp scrub with salt and really like the clean but not stripped feeling that it gave my scalp. Now, if that doesn't go far enough for you and you want a really deep clean for your scalp, the hair salon is the place to go. Now, I've seen several hairstylists start sharing the types of treatments that they do on their clients' scalps to exfoliate them and get rid of product buildup and just give their scalps an overall deep cleaning. And I'm telling you, there's some dirty scalps out there. It's a really good, effective way to deep clean your scalp and give it a reset, a fresh start. So next time you go to the salon, ask your stylist what options she has. Tip 3 is to protect your scalp from environmental damage. Now, I have to say, it's really easy to forget that the sun, wind, and other environmental elements can all cause damage to our scalp. Just think about it. We make sure to protect our faces and the rest of our bodies by slathering on sunscreen before we hit the beach, the pool, the hiking trail, or even our front yard. But we don't always remember to protect our scalp. And I know this firsthand because I got a little story to tell you. I've got some friends who have told me the stories of them going out to the beach, to the pool, going to Disney, and by the time they get home, their scalp is sunburnt because they didn't protect it. And it was painful. And it was kind of gross. I didn't see it, but I heard about it. I didn't want to see it. It was enough just hearing about it. So let me tell you, before you head outside to spend some time in the sun, make sure to protect your scalp with a scarf, a hat, or even some sunscreen. Believe me, your scalp will thank you. Moving on to tip 4, I think this one might ruffle some feathers a little bit because it might hit home. And that's because it's avoiding tight hairstyles. Yeah. When I'm talking about tight hairstyles, I'm referring to any style where the scalp is pulled or tugged. And this typically refers to updos like buns, ponytails, and even some popular protective styles like braids. Now, most of these styles are great at giving your hair a break and keeping some or all of your hair covered and protected, but these styles can put a lot of pressure on the scalp and eventually can lead to hair loss. I have seen several posts from women and hair Facebook groups asking or crying for help because the tight hairstyles they were wearing had caused their edges to thin or even completely disappear. They even will sometimes have bumps all over their scalp along their edges. It's just not good. You just want to avoid all of that. Now, I've been known to rock a bun or a ponytail quite often, but when I do, I make sure to not pull my hair back tightly and to keep the style slightly loose so that there isn't a strain on my edges. Okay, the 5th tip is to incorporate more healthy foods into your diet. Now, this I got from all of the doctors and nutritionists who were being quoted in the blog posts and the articles that I read about scalp health. And I'm telling you, what they said makes sense. Basically, they all said that having a healthier diet can improve the overall health of your skin, including your scalp. So doing things such as eating more fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins can really nourish the scalp from the inside out, helping to keep it healthy. Additionally, staying hydrated by drinking water throughout the day or eating fruits and vegetables that are high in water content is also beneficial for a healthy scalp. Tip 6 is to avoid things that can cause your scalp irritation. Now, what can cause your scalp irritation can be anything and everything from hair products with ingredients that can cause you to have an allergic reaction, to synthetic hair that is used for weaves and braids, to even home remedies. And I actually want to talk a little about home remedies. Now, when it comes to those, I saw several that not just influencers are recommending, but also some respected lifestyle publications that would help to keep the scalp healthy. And looking at these home remedies, some of them seem fine. But there are others that I just know will cause some irritation to my scalp and do the opposite of what I wanted them to do, so I thought I would share them with you. Now, as a disclaimer, probably a couple of years ago, I would have included all of these home remedies as options and good things for you to do for your scalp. But my perspective on homemade hair products has changed over the last few years. There are a few home remedies I still do, such as using apple cider vinegar to rinse my hair or doing tea rinses for my hair. But most of them, I'm kind of like, I'm just going to use the store-bought product. So take this as you will, take it with a grain of salt, do what you want to do. But I'm going to share with you the home remedies that I don't feel comfortable using on my own scalp. And the first one is a baking soda paste, putting that directly on your scalp. Baking soda is harsh and it's used as a cleaning ingredient. And I just know that it would cause my scalp some irritation. I can just think about it and imagine it pretty well. It's just not something that I feel comfortable putting on my scalp. I've put it on my face before for a pimple and it stung like no one's business. So I know my scalp is more sensitive. I just could not put it there. Another home remedy is mashed bananas. Now on the surface, this doesn't seem like it would irritate the scalp at all, but I'm pretty sure that I would end up with some mashed banana stuck in my hair, still on my scalp. It wouldn't completely wash away, and then I'd be walking around with rotting banana in my hair, and that would just cause me some irritation. The other home remedy I found is a yogurt and egg mixture. So same as the mashed bananas, it has a good potential for scalp irritation if it's accidentally left on my scalp. And one thing that just kept coming to mind was like, what if there's some that's left and I blow dry my hair or I flat iron my hair? I put heat on my hair. Yogurt and egg and heat. The seventh and final tip is to see a dermatologist. Now, I wanted to include this because sometimes there may be a scalp issue that just can't be solved at home. If no matter what you do, the itching, the flaking, the dryness, or abnormal shedding won't stop, it's time to bring in a specialist who can diagnose the issue and provide some medication or remedy that can help. Now, when the scalp is healthy, you can easily tell because the scalp doesn't show any redness or irritation. There's no scaling, no dandruff or buildup, and it doesn't feel tender, and there's no odor coming from it. Okay, I've done a lot of talking, and now I want to hear from you. Which of these tips would you use on your scalp? Or which of these tips do you already use in your hair routine? Go ahead and share in the comments. And while you're at it, if you like this video, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. And if you like this type of content, go ahead and let me know by becoming a subscriber and hitting that subscribe button. Oh, and before you go, I've got another video for you to watch. This one is called How Often Relaxed Hair Should Be Washed. And that is where I share my thoughts on how often is often enough to wash relaxed hair. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in this next video.